like the number 3 tips for somebody in your industry.
Yeah, well, I think the big thing that you
This is success. How may I help you?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jordan Harris here, aka DeVante Styles, and today I will be breaking down the top 3 secrets of success from episode 16 of my podcast with James Whittaker on how to develop yourself and how to develop a better character and create habits of success. So, without further ado, let's hop right in.
need to do is figure out who you are first. Don't try and be someone else. And there's a big difference between trying to be someone else versus modeling success. So when you're clear on your values and where you want to go, you need to find people who inspire you, who are leaders in that field. So find out what they're doing, why they're a success.
Tip number 1 from James is model success while being yourself. What does he mean by this? What James means is make sure you figure out who you are as a core and who you are as a person and what you value, and make sure you stick to what you value. But while you're doing this, you can still model success while finding people in your field or in your industry that have skills, resources, or achievements that you would like to eventually achieve, and figuring out what they do and the habits that create the success. Now, let's move on to tip number 2.
A lot of people try and do everything themselves, and I was certainly guilty of that for many years. I wanted to, have this whole portfolio of all these different things, and I wanted to do the video editing and the graphic design and all this, everything, website stuff. But I've recently started outsourcing, so my web design has been outsourced for just over a year now. So it means I've got a great website, and it's a stress that I don't have to worry about. And I recently started outsourcing video editing and graphic design as well. And there's a lot of cheap ways that you can do that now through companies like Design Pickle and things like that. So doing that means that you get a professional product without the stress. And people think, well, it's actually costing me a lot of money. But if you added up that accumulation of your time and your stress, well, then I bet you it probably is worth only at the end of it to have a fairly amateur product, when you can get someone to do this in a way that looks great because you've modeled success and you know what works and what doesn't. I think that is such a really important piece of the puzzle.
Tip number 2 from James is outsource. What does this mean? What this means is plain and simply that you can't do everything all the time. You can't edit your videos, become a graphic designer, become a website developer, become a best time author while doing speeches all at the same time. Understand at the beginning you might have to do a lot of this stuff by yourself, but once you reach a point where you're making money and you can outsource this stuff, this is plain and simply the best thing to do, because it allows you to get more professional work at people that are greater or better at the sources that you are weaker at, as well as it takes a lot of stress away and it creates more space for you to put more productivity, thought, and time into a specific area that you are good at and create a better product overall. Now, let's go into tip number 3.
And then the big one is just getting out there and getting busy. So not sitting on your couch. Like, really, the biggest thing for me in my entire life has been through networking, through getting along with people and getting out there to meet people and figure out ways that you can unconditionally add value to others. And that means basically giving things to people without the expectation of anything in return. And so many people these days, they're trying to ram things down your throat, like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's not about you, it's about them. It's about the people that you're helping. So figure out a way that you can add value unconditionally to these people. And once you do that properly, they're going to get excited about you and your mission and wanting to help you. But you need to get out there and increasingly become a person of value, because when you're doing that, that enables you to add more and more value to people who are higher and higher up the food chain. And once you get some pretty big hitters excited about you and what you're doing, then you're going to massively increase and amplify your results.
Tip number 3 from James is get out there and get busy. Now, what does he mean by this? He means get out there and give immense value exactly what he said. Understand that the majority of the people, when you do things, are not going to care at first, and they might not care for a while, but this should not stop you from trying to provide value to them. Don't go out there to seek attention. Go out there to push and solve a problem, and solve it so much that you could practically solve it for free. And when you get to that point and people start seeing that, that's when they're going to start caring about what you're doing. And once one or two people care, I guarantee you that it will carry. And like James said, if it gets up to bigger people in that field or position, that's when you're going to take off and everybody is going to start learning about you. But you can't compare yourself to where other people are. And understand that a lot of people do that, including myself. And when you do that, it starts getting tiring and get down, and you want to quit on what you're doing. But don't allow that to happen. Alright guys, let's recap what we've learned from James today in this video, from his 3 secrets to success for personal development, starting off with tip number 1, which is model success while still being yourself. Understand that you still need to figure out who it is that you are and what it is that you value deep in your core and your heart. And as you do this, find people that you aspire to be, that inspire you to continue, whether it is that you want to eventually have their talents, their attributes, or the achievements that they have accomplished, and find these people and figure out what it is that they did to create the success that they had. Tip number 2 is outsource. Understand that you are not going to be able to do everything. In the beginning, you might have to do a lot, but once you are able to create financial stability, outsource these things so that you are able to create a stronger product that allows you to affect the consumer more. And tip number 3 is get busy. Understand that you need to be doing stuff and adding intense and incomprehensible amount of value to people in order for them to eventually care about what you are doing. Understand a lot of them will not care in the beginning, but once you continue to do this and get 1 or 2 people to care without the expectation of them caring, that eventually this will spread once it gets to higher people in your industry, and from there you will go off. Now, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, it would mean the absolute world to me if you click the subscribe button down below, as well as press that thumbs up button. I hope you stay in tune for more content, because we're posting content weekly. So without further ado, I'll see you next time.